Hi, this is Sir June, and today I am your philosophy mentor. Today we shall be talking about the philosophy of Immanuel Kant and particularly his ethical principles. We shall be talking about Immanuel Kant's Deontology and his idea on the categorical imperative. But kung bago ka pa lang sa aking channel, huwag kalimutang mag-like and subscribe and ring mo na rin yung bell down there para updated ka sa lahat ng videos na aking i-upload. So, huwag natin patagalin pa. Simulan na natin ang ating discussion sa araw na ito. Before we are going to discuss the deontology and categorical imperative of Immanuel Kant, let me tell you first the short background of Immanuel Kant's life. So Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher and he was famous during the time of the Enlightenment era, since he was coming from the time of modernity. His philosophical teachings also relate to that particular period. And may dapat kayong malaman that in modernity, the human beings or the anthropo became the center of philosophical talk during this time. And this was also the time that science also came into progress. That's why it was called Enlightenment era. And so, Immanuel Kant was trying to develop a revolutionary ideas or insights concerning the human mind and concerning the human knowledge. And that is why later on we can understand that in his formulation of his ethical principle that is actually seen in his groundwork towards a metaphysics of moral. This was the writing of Immanuel Kant. Makikita natin that Immanuel Kant's ethical principle was very modern, unlike from Aquinas. Aquinas was influenced by the medieval period. So ito yung titingnan natin. For St. Thomas Aquinas, the ground of what is right and what is wrong is actually the human nature. So we have discussed it in the natural law of Aquinas. However, the ground of morality for Immanuel Kant is not human nature or the natural law, but it is actually the human reason itself, the human faculty, or Kant called it as the faculty of reason. For Immanuel Kant, the faculty of reason is binding to all human beings, since the faculty of reason is actually inborn, something that is inherent to all human beings. After all, when we were born into this world, all of us are gifted with that human mind, the faculty of reason. Now, let us proceed to Immanuel Kant's principle, that is the deontology. And let us examine this moral theory and its relationship to Kant's categorical imperative. Deontology is a moral theory that examines human acts that are done due to duty. That is why the deontology is an ethical theory that pertains to the study of duty and obligation. This is the ethical principle of Immanuel Kant, in which this deontology is grounded by that human faculty of reason. According to Immanuel Kant, what makes man different from other forms of beings, especially animals, is our rational will. And therefore, it is the same as saying that humans are rational in nature. So our rationality is our capability to create ideas, to create thoughts that are beyond our immediate environment. As human beings interact with people in the world, as we interact with our environment, we have the capacity to think. We have the capacity to react, or how we react, how we respond to our immediate environment. We have the capacity to stop and think what we are doing in this world. And that is very actually inherent in us. Kasi we have the capacity of reason. Our rational will enables us to reflect on our actions. It enables us to evaluate our actions. Our mind entails us to imagine a world and make mental abstractions or mental images, even on how we mingle with other people. In other words, our rational will directs us how we react or how we respond to the world, and how we act in a manner which our actions are in accordance with our human reason. Let me give you a very concrete example. As I was saying, humans can choose how to react to our external stimulus. For instance, we feel very tired today. You know what I'm feeling? I'm tired, a little bit tired. So, your head feels heavy, your eyes seems to fall asleep. So, the immediate impulse would actually tell us to fall asleep. However, our rational will tell us that I have to finish my job today. I have to finish reading my module today. That I have to finish making up all of my outputs. That I have to finish this thing that I am doing today. So, the struggle to stay wide awake, and maybe you go and take some coffee, do a little stretching, para mabuhayan ka. So, that struggle is actually a product of your rational will. In other words, you are letting your rational will win over your external or bodily desires and impulses. You see, our victory over our impulses is actually the product of our rational will. This is our capacity to choose, not just simply react mindlessly to our external stimulus or environment. So, this is our capacity to choose. And this is actually a product of our human mind. And this is what Immanuel Kant called as our human freedom. And philosophically, the term that Immanuel Kant actually used here is actually the word agency. This is our agency. We are human beings, and we are agents of our actions. We have the capacity to choose. We have the capacity to think what we are doing, and we have the capacity to act in accordance to our intentions and mental states. In relation to what I am saying about human freedom, one important property of the rational will is actually the autonomy. The autonomy means here is self-rule or self-regulating. This means that by virtue of autonomy, a person does not just simply do an act because of external law, because it is mandated, because it is told by his peers, or maybe it is because it is demanded by the society. But based on this idea of autonomy, a person does an act because of choice. Kaya nga, self-regulating, because of freedom. Kasi choice ng tao yun. Choice na yun. An act is done not because of rewards and punishment, but it is done because a person knows that his action could benefit himself, well, and of course, other people. Now, our actions could be a product of two things. What are these two things? Number one, our rational will. Second is our animal impulse. Now, the rational will, according to Immanuel Kant, refers to our pure reason, our human reason, while the animal impulse refers to our sensible impulses, such as our bodily and emotional instincts. Example of our bodily instincts are our bodily desires to eat, drink, sleep, and do sexual intercourse. Likewise, our emotions and sentiments are part also of our sensible impulses, such as our jealousy, seeing our lovers flirting with someone else, and getting angry at someone who intentionally causes harm. So these are part of our human emotions and sentiments. So this is part of our bodily and emotional instincts. When humans do an act because of these sensible impulses, or the actions are product of these sensible impulses, Kant call this as animal choice. On the other hand, when a person does an act based on his rational will, then Immanuel Kant called it as free choice. You know the difference, animal choice and free choice. So animal choice, if yung choices natin are products of our emotions. So for instance, nasuntok mo yung tao dahil galit ka, you fail to control your emotions. So yung action na yun, it was animal choice kasi it was not a product of your rationality but a product of your sensible impulses. On the other hand, makikita natin, a person was able to rape someone, yung mga rapists, because he acted immediately based on his sensible bodily desires. The desires to have sex. That's why hindi natin matatawag yun na free choice. According to Immanuel Kant, it was an animal choice. Di ba? Or when a person murdered or intentionally murdered someone, we can call it as animal choice. Out of anger, out of hatred, out of jealousy. These are products of our sensible impulses. Now, Immanuel Kant recognized that our free choice can be affected by our bodily impulses or sensations. No, but to Immanuel Kant, it should not, or our free choice should not be determined by our bodily impulses. So our free choice rather allows us to stop and deliberately assess our actions. It enables us to evaluate the possible alternative of our actions. And it allows us to think what possible response and possible choice or decision we have to take based on our pure reason. To sum up, Immanuel Kant tells us that we should do an act not because of rewards and punishment, not because of the desired end. Instead, we should do an act because, first and foremost, it is our duty to do so. As human beings, it is our duty, it is our ought to do good and avoid evil as rational beings. According to Immanuel Kant, it is our duty as rational beings to do good to other people. We should be doing good to others, not because it is mandated by the law, not because it is expected by the society. Instead, we should be doing good towards others because, first and foremost, doing good is our moral responsibility as rational beings. We are entitled with free choices, and we are entitled with that human capacity for reason. We can think and reflect and therefore evaluate our own actions that bring good impact to others. And so, at the end of the day, it is our conscience that will actually help us determine what is right and what is wrong. At the end of the day, we should be facing ourselves in the mirror and letting our conscience tell us that do this because this is the right thing for you to do as a human person in this world and time. Immanuel Kant tells us that we must not simply act because we see personal benefits towards the end of our actions. We must not simply act because we see that there is a reward or we are avoiding punishment at the end of our action or as consequence of our actions. Instead, we do such acts because this is what our conscience tells us to do. This is what we are ought to do as human beings. Again, this is Sir Jun And thank you very much for watching my vlog today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and ring the bell down there to help me gain more subscribers, to help me gain more followers. And hopefully I'll be able to publish books that are related to philosophy and that are related to social sciences. So thank you very much for